Today, we will be building a level tabletop using EpoxyCast 690 liquid epoxy resin. The tabletop we are building is 5 feet 7 inches by 16 feet 7 inches. The table will be used in a variety of industrial projects. For this reason, along with its size and the need for self-leveling material due to an uneven floor, we will be using EpoxyCast 690. This project will require a total of 400 pounds of EpoxyCast 690. The advantages of an epoxy countertop are: first is building the table base. The cabinets are assembled, positioned, and nailed into place. Next, support frames are built in between the cabinets on an upper and lower level. This will help to position and support the tabletop. Melamine sheets are then positioned on the table base. Silicone caulk is applied to the seam in between the melamine pieces. This will hold the melamine boards together and prevent liquid epoxy from leaking. The melamine boards are then screwed into place. The excess melamine board is cut off. Silicone caulk is used to seal the screw holes and seams between the melamine sheets to prevent leaking. Any excess silicone caulk is then removed. To support a containment wall, a drop edge is attached and its seams are also sealed. Containment walls are then applied on top of the drop edge. The walls will contain the liquid epoxy when it is poured. The seams of the containment walls are sealed to prevent liquid epoxy from leaking out. The silicone caulk is allowed to fully cure before pouring the liquid epoxy into the form. After the silicone has cured, screws are partially applied, leaving the heads exposed to create a mechanical bond with the epoxy resin. This will help to keep the top in place if there is delamination between the epoxy resin and melamine board. Ease Release 200 is then applied to release the epoxy from the containment walls. A board is used to prevent overspray from getting on the melamine surface. Ease Release 200 is left to dry for 5 minutes at room temperature. Now it's time to pour the tabletop. What is EpoxyCast 690? We will be using the entire 5-gallon kit of EpoxyCast 690. Parts A and B are poured into a larger mixing container. This material has a pot life of 5 hours at room temperature. Parts A and B are then thoroughly mixed with a variable speed drill and turbine mixer. The sides and bottom of the container are scraped with a flat edge tool to ensure a thorough mix. UVO black pigment is then added. After that, the material is mixed one more time to ensure a thorough mix of all components. EpoxyCast 690 is then poured into the form to a 3/8 of an inch thickness. We do not want to go thicker. 4 batches of material are dispensed, mixed, and poured, totaling 200 pounds. A propane torch is used to eliminate surface bubbles. Do not hold the propane torch closer than 3 inches to the material. The EpoxyCast 690 is now left to cure for 24 hours at room temperature. The process is then repeated to dispense and mix another 200 pounds of liquid epoxy resin. The second layer is poured on top of the first. This is to build up the thickness of the table and to make it level with the floor. Because of its low viscosity, the material fills in all crevices and self-levels. A propane torch is once again used to remove surface bubbles. The epoxy is left to cure for another 24 hours at room temperature. Finishing the EpoxyCast 690 tabletop. Now that the material is cured, the containment walls and drop edge can be unscrewed and removed. A thin strip of epoxy meniscus has formed. It is removed by sanding it with a 60 grit sandpaper. The edges of the work surface are rounded with a router and a 1/4 inch roundover trim bit, resulting in smooth edges. The top of the surface is then sanded multiple times with various grit sandpaper in order to create a smooth, even surface finish. Once the sanding is complete, the surface is wiped clean with a rag and water. Using the EpoxyCast 690, we were able to make a level, custom-colored, seamless tabletop that can handle a variety of industrial projects. This would not have been possible using any other alternative. The total cost for this project was $4,500, while the lowest quote we could find for a table of this size was $10,000. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe to get our latest content.